Good afternoon, my YouTube viewers. Crystal here. I'm here this late afternoon, early evening to give you a code review. Basically, I entered the Analytics Vidhaya competition for a number of upvotes. And I didn't know exactly what they were talking about. So I found the code for the competition on a website. So I'm doing a code review for the code. The code can be found here at this website right here that my little pointer is pointing to. So that's where I got the code for you to see. And basically, when I typed the code in, the code didn't totally work because she had made a mistake in the code, which I had to find out. I had to do a guess what she was talking about. And then when I did the guess what she was talking about, I went ahead and put the code in, which is, I find this to be very problematic. I find this to be happen a lot in the code that I look at. A lot of times when I get code off of a YouTube video or off of a website, it doesn't work, and then so I have to troubleshoot it and try to find out why it doesn't work. Like, I just found out today that I can't do another competition because the modules that they were using were not specific to Python, and Python didn't support them. And then so one module I was able to get it supported by typing in some other codes, but then my system crashed because they had so much data in it, my little computer just couldn't cope. So that means that I'm limited in what competitions I can enter, because if the data is so much memory intensive that it's going to crash my computer, then I cannot enter the competition, which means that at some point I'm going to have to save my money and get a more powerful computer so I can enter these competitions where there's lots of data. But at the moment, I'm not able to do that because it just crashes my little Chromebook. And I was somewhere else today. I can't tell you where. And it crashed that computer as well. So I'm not able to do these deep learning exercises, and I'm not able to do TensorFlow because my computer just can't handle it. That means that I'm going to have to save my money for another computer, so I can get a more powerful computer that will be able to cope with lots and lots of data. But carrying on with this code review, so you know where I got the code right here. We're importing the libraries. And then I will say there were some instances when she didn't put the imported libraries into the code. And because she didn't put the imported libraries into the code, I had to find out which library I needed to import. And I imported all three files, the train file, test file, and the sample file. And I did mine a little bit different from the way she did hers, because she did not include a sample sub, but I wanted to see the sample sub because I wanted to see the format that I was going to have to submit the competition in. And she did not do the test file until the very end. And the only thing that she imported was a train file. But I just make it as a matter of course to upload all the files at the very beginning of my program. So we can see the train file. The upvotes is what we're looking at. We can see the test file. The test file doesn't have upvotes. And the reason why is because we're going to be predicting what the upvotes are going to be. And this is the sample sub. This is this format of the submission that we needed to submit to Analytics Vidhaya. So I wanted to see if there were any null characters in the training file and the testing file, and there were no null characters in the training file and the testing file. But the training, I did a training description, so you can see a description of the train file, and also did a description of the test file. On the train file, the ID and the username were dropped because they're not necessary, and I believe it's because this formula that she used, it didn't take characters, and because the formula that she used didn't take characters, it wasn't necessary, because you can see you've got reputation, answers, views, and upvotes, and they're all numbers except for a tag. Tag is a character. So we did a group by, so you can find out what all the tags are. And we did a heat map, so you can find out the heat map. And you found out that the upvotes have the highest, the views and the upvotes have the highest correlation. We did some plots. And then we did some bar charts. So we created another a feature called PD Watched, and then we made a new column and put PD Watched into a new column. And so we used a function called binarizer, and I suppose that's in binary format. So what we did was we took care of the categorical variable tag using label encoder. So we used label encoder, and then we did a fit transform as well. And the reason why and what that did was that converted characters to numbers. And that's what I said before, that you can't use any characters in this algorithm. So that's what they did. They converted a tag to a number using label encoder. We did another graph, and you can see that there are some outliers in the graphs. And now we get to the point where we split the data. X train, X val, Y train, Y val equals train test split. So train was feature names, and you've got feature names here. And originally she had put Y down there, and Y was not the correct answer because she had not defined Y. So I had to go through some of my old programs, and I figured out that what she meant was train up votes. And see, that's a problem we have. These people, they make these videos and they make these websites and they put faulty code in them because obviously they want to get paid, but they don't actually check to make sure the code works. So this train upvote is what I had to figure out that needed to go in there. But she had actually just put Y in there, but she had not defined Y. So the test size is 22% and the random state is 205. So she used standard scalar, and she did a fit transform, and she did a transform. And then so what she did here is she was doing polynomial features. So because this competition deals with polynomials, so she did polynomial features, and that was another thing that she did not do correctly. And I had to look on the internet and find out that it was supposed to say pp dot polynomial features. So this lady didn't actually check to see if the program worked before she put it before she had it published. And I'm sure she was paid to have it published, but the program was faulty and I had to troubleshoot it. So she also used linear regression. So she used lasso Lars. And then she fit the model, and it had a R2 score of 91%, really. And then she did her prediction on the test set. So the ID was test ID, and then after the ID was the test ID, she dropped the ID column and the username column because they're not necessary. And then she used label encoder for the tag, and then she did test. So you can see the test. And so in tag, it had previously been letters, but now it's numbers. So what is going to happen is when she does her prediction, the prediction is going to be based on tag, reputation, answers, and views. She's going to create another feature called watched. So she's going to use binarizer for the watched. So watched is going to be binary. It's going to be either 0 or 1. And she's going to make a new column called PD watched, which is exactly what she did on the train file. So she's going to transform the test data. She's going to make her predictions. And then after she's made her predictions, then this data is going to go into a data frame, which is going to be converted to a CSV file. And this is the output, which is going to be submitted to Analytics VidHaya. And I did submit it to Analytics VidHaya, and I got a very good score on that. But it wasn't my work. It was this lady's work. But because I'm new, I have to look at the work of other people so I'll know what I'm doing. But one thing that, I can do is when the code doesn't work, and that happens a lot, I'm able to troubleshoot it and find out why the code doesn't work. And this code that this lady wrote, there were 2 occasions when the code didn't work, and I had to troubleshoot that to get the code to work. So it's a little bit frustrating if you're new and you're just starting out and you're trying to learn how to code, and the people that are paid money to write articles for magazines or make YouTube videos are putting faulty code out there. But I've showed you the code, and this code does work after I've made the corrections. So if you want to study it, go ahead and study it. That concludes it for this code review. And let me know what you think about this video. Let me know what you think about this code review. I'd like to know your thoughts. If you like my video, please like, subscribe, and share. If you like the work I'm doing, I'm leaving my email address to my PayPal account down below. If you want to make a donation to defray my many living expenses. And thank you so much for watching this video, and I look forward to watching the next one.